On the road for the first time in Season 9, our Stanford Cardinal head out east to play against Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. And Coach Barrington is hoping to see the same effort this team put together last week. It truly was an unbelievable showing with so many new faces racking up a 42-3 win over our former offensive coordinator, now head coach of the Sooners. And Justin Sorensen had a fantastic debut as the starting quarterback, just under 250, 2 touchdowns, and 80% complete. But you could argue that the man of the game was Taj Jewell, another first game starter. And he put up 23 yards on 4 carries, half of which were for touchdowns. But really, he was through the air, 87 yards on 5 grabs. And we saw him have such a large workload as Joe Wesovich was a bit banged up, but he is healthy stepping into this game. In the same step, Jordan Lockett is also 100% today against the Wildcats. But he did make his first career catch, 1 for 10 yards. But the real standout from that game in the receiving core was Ben Vallejo, the now senior receiver, 4 yards shy of 100, a touchdown in that game. We also saw a touchdown by Paul Thrash, really stepping forward as well this year and should be a key player. The only concern on the offense really came with the blocking. A lot of hurries, a lot of quarterback hits. Only 2 sacks though given up, and that was off of Cliff Robinson. Offensively, though, while we did have 3 sacks, we did not see much pass rush from the interior. Really only Henderson in this game, though Mike Nicholson, the redshirt freshman safety, late in the game got his first career sack. We would like to see a little bit more from the defensive line today and just see more and more from these new faces. As for Northwestern, they're really an unknown coming into this game because their first game was against an FCS team that they blanked 40-0. How they can handle the Stanford Cardinal, we're about to find out. And as we take the field, make sure to show your Cardinal some love and let Coach Barrington know down below who your favorite player is so far this year as we are underway. Set back to return from their own goal line and getting stopped around the 16. It will be Imani Dog leading out the Wildcats. And he did have an impressive first game, but against FCS talent, we'll see how he stacks up versus the back-to-back national champions, though a pretty overturned roster able to get away from Henderson. They'll buy him just enough time to rip that one to the sideline. 2nd and 10 following the incomplete pass as they will go with the run, spin move, and gonna pick up a good chunk of 6. Fujita will be their man on the ground. He only averaged about 2.5 yards last week, but had 2 touchdowns on 26 carries under pressure. And there's the DTs. Maurice Alakai, with the help of Blair, get the sack and drop dog, setting up that punt. We wanted to see more from that interior, and we've already got it. As Sorensen and the offense take the field, they are starting plus side at the 42. Wesovich, the back, will take the handoff right down the middle and pick up 6. He was off to a really good start that first drive last game until he did have a problem with his foot. Checking in here is going to be Jewell, who bursts to the outside, gets the juke, and is finally taken down about the 25. Really, for the first time in quite some time here for the Stanford Cardinal, they've got a change of pace between these 2 running backs, thrown outside and broken up. That ball intended for Bargava, who didn't see many looks last week. 2nd and 10 as they go play action. Trying to get rid of that one. It's off the kneecap of the linebacker. Looked like there was a receiver open, but didn't have time. Hard count, though, will draw the Cardinal closer. Northwestern with the encroachment. That'll leave Stanford just needing 5 here on 3rd down rather than 10 as they move inside the red zone. They go with a hard count again. This time no one jumps. Throw it outside. Kramer's got grass, turning up, and will find the end zone. Daniel Kramer First year as the #1 tight end. He's put in work the last few, and he finds his first touchdown of the season. And for a young quarterback stepping in, Sorensen, a redshirt sophomore, he's got plenty of weapons. Dog is hoping to see some of his put in work here today, as it will be play action, throw outside, and getting that catch by Kevin Salmon. It is Waddle who tracks him down. First down, though, for the Wildcats. A little shy of the 40, marking him down at the 37. They will go hurry up and go with a stretch to the right, and another big stop is Alakai. Transfer linebacker as well mixed in Dragon. He had a really good showing last week. Coach Barrington really excited about what this group can do with so many new faces. And as long as they keep making their plays, we're about to have a new young core here. Under pressure and sack. It is Dragon sent on the blitz from the off-ball linebacker. They only sent 3 of the 4 down linemen, and it's going to pay off big. 4th and 15 and another punt forced. Now as the offense takes the field, we didn't talk about it the last drive. We completely forgot. Left guard Ragas has returned, his first start in about half a season, as he had a tailbone injury last year. But he helps pave the way on a big run there from Joe Wesovich, as it will be to the 42 where the Cardinal change up their play here, bunch to the right-hand side. Throwing that way, they're going to find Vallejo, getting smacked around for a gain of 6. He's another player kind of shifting to a new role this year, was slot last year, now playing on the outside this year. Going back to Taj Jewell, it's the halfback screen, and he wiggles around, lets those blocks set up, and will burst to the 34. We've seen plenty of speed on this team, but his acceleration, that has been a whole new gear here for the Stanford Cardinal. As Wesovich takes this run outside, an injury up front here for Northwestern. And that could prove to be a big one. The guy down there, I believe, is the player who had 3 sacks for him last week. 2nd and 6, though, for the Stanford Cardinal. As Sorensen steps up, he will only gain 1. He tried scrambling around a good bit last week against OU's front 7 to some success, but for the most part, there wasn't much to do. Under pressure here, and that ball barely gets out. It would be about a 45-yard field goal. We see Coach Barrington stay aggressive here at the 28. Babineau checks in. Hard count, and it looks like the whole left side moves. This one might be on Rick Ragas. Pushing this back to a 50-yard attempt. They will bring out Sam Ritter, who will slice that one true. Had to carry with the wind to bring it home, but gives the Stanford Cardinal a 10-point lead. After a rough last year and a half or so for him kicking, as the senior for the special teams unit, that is a great play, and Coach Barrington's got to be very excited about that. Back over to Northwestern's offense, who we haven't seen really be able to move the ball much. They check down here, and coming to make the tackle is Lovelace. Seeing a bit more 2 tight end work today for Northwestern, is keeping some of the more base packages out there on defense. Picking up the first down, though, is Fujita, the senior of the running back bunch for Northwestern. Play action this time. Wide open downfield, and caught at the 47. Perhaps a slightly better throw there from Dog, and he's able to run down the sidelines and pick up a good chunk more. Short Northwestern will take it, though, with a slow start offensively. Cut back right side for more. Seems like they are very much trying to run a simplistic offense out the gate here today. As Fujita does get to the outside, it is Kevin Salmon pushing him out. Whether it's a simplistic offense or not, it's moving this drive. Hurdle, and DB completely missed. That ball is out. Diving on top of it is the big fellow, rumbling down inside the 10. That play went a little bit all over. It was great to bad to even better for Northwestern. But that takes us to the break here. First quarter comes to an end at Ryan Field. Stanford Cardinal are on top here, 10-0. With that last chaotic run, it does have the Wildcats inside the 10. as they go to Fujita, getting a good push right-hand side. And that would be on Waddle, who's more of an athletic linebacker rather than a big, strong man. Good tackle, though, is the freshman Sabri. He'll come in occasionally here on these 4-4 type packages. Good blocking, diving, and does pay off for Fujita. He gets the Wildcats on the board and caps off an impressive drive. A lot of ground and pound work. And we really didn't see much resistance from the front seven. And frankly, the Stanford Cardinal are not used to teams doing that. The last 2 or so years, they've been one of the top run defense teams. We'll see how our offense looks to respond as Wesovich, he takes it outside and picks up 7. Common threads for him is it's going to take multiple defenders to bring him down. At the 22, they look to go back to the screen. Well, the pressure has just been getting there a little bit too early. This is what we saw last week. 3rd and 3, a lot of early movement. Before Northwestern, it's a little bit of some sweet and sour. You give up the first down, but Daryl Renes does return to the game. And he's been one of their best sackers this year. Early on, though, as Gordon Lockett, he's got the catch. Second for him in his career, and it's his second first down to boot. As we've got 7 minutes to go here left in the first half. What can the Cardinal do here? Well, Sorensen trying to work the pocket will get dropped. Mike Hacker. And he's had a lot of plays in the backfield to start off this year. Couple TFLs last week, the sack now this week. Under pressure, getting that one out. It's Lockett, who's got 11. And that'll set up a 3rd and 1 at the 50-yard line. Wesovich and Babineau in the backfield, and they'll run it right down the gut. Not too much push up front that time, but it does enough. As Babineau, he'll take the carry. He had his first career touchdown last week. He takes that rumble for a gain of 5, following behind Pete Morton. At the 41 here plus side. Cardinal throw and find Bargava. What a tremendous job from the trailing DB. He actually knocks it out before he could secure that catch. 3rd and 5 then, Stanford Cardinal. Thrown across the middle and sticky hands, Kramer. He's shown some true ability to be a solid threat in the receiving game. And he could block to boot. 1st and 10. And Sorensen, he's going to look to scramble here, sliding down as Terrell Long is shaken up for Northwestern. A couple players getting banged up early here at the 21. Cardinal go back to the air, and it's Vallejo stopped just in front of the 10. With a little bit of room to spare before the goal line, it'll be a shotgun set as Taj Jewell is contained. Not many have found a way to do that this year. Backing us up to the 13 with 2nd and 13. Tight shotgun look here for Sorensen. As he'll throw again under pressure. A couple blockers in front for Vallejo. Once again, the defender sticks with the man and finds that ankle. Setting up a 3rd and 2. And it's Vallejo in motion. Sorensen here on the keeper. Finds the lane and does get the first down. Wildcats bring him down before he can find the end zone. But it is a fresh set here for the Cardinal, who do not get the snap off in time. We're getting things set back up here inside the 1. They look to run the same formation. It's outside for Joe Wesovich. And he's got his first touchdown on the year. The halfback slip screen from the quarterback power formation. And your Stanford Cardinal go back up by 10. Now that does leave Northwestern just under 2 minutes to try to answer in this first half. 17-7. They'll start going to the air here. Check down and a good stop before the first down will make sure that clock stays rolling. Wildcats choose to go hurry up. Keeping 2 spread either side here as Dog checks the sideline. Make sure they got the right call in. Look for another quick throw and toe tapping and hitting the catch. Though still gonna go hurry up as that clock is moving. So I guess they didn't count him as out of bounds then. With 3 to the right hand side this go around. And open down the middle. Dog will take the 14 and slide down to the 39. A minute 20. They have 2 timeouts remaining. And under pressure here, Henry will get the sack. 2nd and 24, back to the 25. There's a lot of expectations and a pretty big shoe to fill here on this defense. Of course, over the last 8 or so years, the Stanford Cardinal have produced 2 Heisman-winning edge rushers. And one of them just went to the league last year. Throw outside is caught. Tight coverage there from Manu Cave, but does give up about half the yardage needed. 3rd and 12. You might even consider going for it on a 4th and short. We'll see what the Wildcats decide to do. As they go downfield, it's going to be picked off by Dragan, who was just waiting. He red dogged the whole way. And he sets up the Stanford Cardinal with 50 seconds left at the 38. But for all young quarterbacks out there, that is what it looks like when you force a pass, unneeded as well. Cardinal come out here with 2 to the right, but they've got Kramer right down the seam, not able to find the end zone. Last defender does bring him down. Cardinal will go hurry up here as they're down to the 13. They've got the timeouts. They want to use them. Sorensen's got a receiver in motion left-hand side. That's Bargava. They're going to go right back to Kramer, who's going to quick hit the brakes, turn up, and get out at the 2. I don't know if Coach Barrington has a tight end screen mixed in here, but if he does, this might be the time to use it. 1st and goal, or they go with the RPO, and Kramer on 3 straight plays gives the Stanford Cardinal one more touchdown here before the break. 24-7. But with 1 timeout still in that back pocket and playing at home, will Northwestern try to get something done here? Dog comes out with a spread look and throws another pick by Dragan. He puts the spin move on Dog and taken down inside of 5. The transfer from Washington. Dragan sets us up for another potential touchdown attempt before the break. We were still having a pretty good half here, but we could make this a tremendous half with 21 seconds. It's 2 spread either side here for Justin Sorensen. Under pressure, he gets rid of it. And honestly, he's got to feel pretty lucky that that one was not picked by one of the D linemen. Jules in at running back. He'll take the carry here, and the Cardinal will tack on one more in what should be the final one here of the half. This stadium is dead quiet as the Wildcat fan base is just under pure and utter shock. It was a pretty close game for the magnitude of Stanford versus Northwestern, but those late turnovers really have impacted this game. For Northwestern, they could look to go recoup and come up with an idea then for the second half, down 31-7. 2 late half interceptions. Daniel Kramer scoring off of one of those, and he's having a career day out there. 5 grabs, 68 yards, averaging 13 yards a grab, 2 touchdowns for the senior. He's putting in the work, but a lot of different players are defense Dragan. The big plays made late on in that half. We saw some plays from Nathan Henderson earlier. We did see a good drive, though, from Northwestern. If they could get back to that running game, they might find success. But frankly, they might be out of time as the Stanford Cardinal kickstart the second half here with possession already up massively. Wesovich with a hard cutback and rumbles for 14. Whatever problem he had with that calf, ankle, foot, any part of that lower leg, it seems to be perfectly fine here today. As they go back to him, he follows those blocks and will pick up another 4. Now, if any player has struggled a little bit more today, maybe Justin Sorensen. He's been under a lot of pressure, but we would like to see him break through that pressure as he goes downfield. He finds Gordon Lockett by the 30 and ducks out about the 24. Rolling to his weak side, he put that one on the money. We're finally seeing what Lockett can do. At the 24, it's play action roll to the opposite side now. Throwing downfield, a jump ball. They do find Bargava. as Rick Ragas, his first game back from injury, he appears to be a bit banged up. You really never do like to see that, but that does bring in Barkow, who started last week, number 69. Tight shotgun look here for Sorensen. He's looking for another touchdown. Rolling to the right, he throws, and Gordon Lockett has 6. He put in tremendous work this last offseason, rising to actually be the top overall receiver here for the Stanford Cardinal. That got him in the starting lineup, and today he's showing why. That gives the Cardinal a 38-7 lead. With a little bit of extra time then, does Northwestern have a plan for this second half? They ran well. That's where they start, but Lovelace just lit up Fujita. Gotta love seeing all these new guys making plays out there for the Cardinal. As Dog scrambles, giving himself up right in front of Nicholson, it will force a 3rd and 1. They hand it off, and slipping the tackle of Dragan, Fujita picks up the first. Again, he's looked good out there when they've been able to go his way. Ball's on the ground and recovered Northwestern. That is the second time he's put the ball on the ground, but they'll actually do a quick review and say that he was down. He's just got to make sure he's holding onto that ball throughout. As they go back to him, he takes a big hit to the shin. Ty Holly sent in like a missile to get that tackle. Forces 3rd and inches. They will throw, and finding their tight end, Waddle. Got to keep an eye on your receiver. That was one of the concerns with the linebacker group this year. Big hit from Blair, but it wasn't a handoff. Instead, they throw it, and Waddle will provide another big hit. But the coverage from the linebackers, that was something Coach Barrington was wondering how it would unfold with so many new faces. They go back to Fujita, and it's Lovelace meeting him. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Tyrone Roseboom, a great run stopper, but really struggled in coverage. Tight end short of the first down. And frankly, they should have got a free 15 there with the late hit. They'll send out the field goal unit here, and they will knock it in. It'll be 10 points today for Northwestern, but that still leaves them well behind. A whole 28 points behind, to be exact. Cardinal, they start at the 26. Play action here for Sorensen as he lets that one rip and tipped away, intended for Lockett. Good one-on-one coverage there from the Northwestern DB. Forces a 2nd and 10 with a trips look to the left-hand side. As they go play action, they send the blitz, and Sorensen's going down. Gordon Baker gets the sack for the Wildcats. The Cardinal, after going with 2 deep balls, are now faced with a down that they're going to need a deep ball. They need 21 yards here. Though they have it on the outside, Bargava with the catch, taken out at the 48. Cardinal convert the 3rd and long. We are seeing a couple other players get sprinkled in a bit more in this game, which we do like to see. Again, mentioning earlier in the game, Bargava really was not part of it last week. Sorensen scrambles, and he nearly has the first down. Might be able to argue that he should have had it, but refs will mark it 2nd and inches here at the 43. So Wesovich down here as he will run through the DT and linebacker. 53 yards for him today on 8 carries. Should be the final play here of the quarter. It's Taj Jewell left side for a short 3, sending us to the 4th. Stanford Cardinal well in charge of this game, 38-10. That is largely thanks to just the overall thorough production. Passing game, running game, time of possession, it's all been there today for the Stanford Cardinal. As we start the 4th quarter, it does look like they are making some changes out there. Sorensen doesn't like what he sees on this 2nd and 7. As they will look to go to the air, but crunching down the DTs, it's a Haru Lahu that helps make the play, but he appears to actually be injured post. Unsure if he is related to the Stanford Cardinal Kiki Haru Lahu, who got drafted last season or in this last offseason. But it's 3rd and 12 here for the Cardinal. They converted last time, and it's Lockett who cannot hold on. You maybe could ask for that ball to be a little bit more outside. Sorensen put it in a pretty solid spot as he's trying to get this ball a little bit closer, but it looks like Robinson moves early. Cardinal will be forced to punt. That would be for the first time today, and very well might be the first time this year. Back at the 12, Wildcats start their drive. And they're going to start with a quick check down, gain of 6. With just over 8 minutes to go, what are they going to bring to the table here? Under pressure, Blair will get the sack as now Alex Augustine seems to be shaken off. He missed a good chunk of the season last year with a pretty significant injury, came back and dominated, but that could be really unfortunate for a young group out there as Manu Cave read that one like a receiver, ran right underneath it and takes it away. The first interception for Dog on the season. Manu Cave showing off some receiver skills. Couldn't tell you if we brought him in as an athlete, but that looked smooth out there. Cardinal take over at the 41 as they go with some play action. Looking downfield, Vallejo gets the catch off the tip. Cardinal touchdown. An unfortunate play there from the DB of Northwestern. He tipped it right to Ben Vallejo. And the sure-handed receiver would not be missing out on that opportunity. And it would be capitalizing on that opportunity that would get the second team in here for the Stanford Cardinal. See what Northwestern could do against this bunch, and they are slightly rotated from last week. Well, we did see quite a few new faces, a couple more sprinkled in here as they continue with the check down. Michaels, he gets the tackle. One of the young off-ball linebackers here for Stanford. Throwing right side and spinning down an Ogbar. That is a first down for Rawlings and Northwestern. Closing in on midfield, flooding one side and leaving the running back open to take the sideline, chopped out by Dawes. Smooth play design there to get him so wide open at the 32. And again, flooding one side. This time, Bloom stays in coverage. And we picked on him a little bit last week. Late on, he gave up a couple bad coverage plays. That one, though, was smooth. Big hit there from Sabri. Well, they do pick up 7. Moving this to 3rd and 4. With trips to the left-hand side, though, running to the right side. Lovelace slows him down, and it's Lane bringing him down. For the second time late in this game, forcing Northwestern into a field goal opportunity. Right hash, but it will be true enough. They'll tack on 3 more thanks to Coffee. Overall, not too bad of a showing from the Cardinal second-team defense. Now we see Nate House leave the second-team offense out onto the field. We didn't see him last week. Under pressure here, he gets rid of it. Looked like the delayed rush off the right side actually pays off there for the Wildcats. 2nd and 10 following the incompletion. And he's having to dance around in that pocket. Stepping up and taking the contact. He picks up 5. That will, however, leave the Cardinal with a 3rd and 6. Tight shotgun look, hard count, no one jumps. They'll throw right side. They've got Lockett. He's got another first down to the 40. Starting to hear perhaps a little bit of some boos coming in from the crowd. Just unhappy with how this game has gone early on in the season, especially after such a big win last week. No student section likes it as Jewel fights for that first down. We haven't seen the game focus as much on him today. A little bit more passing, but really big play. As again, Nate House is going to step up here, puts the juke move on, and slides down with that first down. Now he is a redshirt freshman. The quarterback room is pretty young here for the Stanford Cardinal, oldest being a redshirt sophomore. Throwing again, they find Lockett. Doesn't quite get the block, though, from Thrash. Haven't ran too many 4 wide today, so we haven't seen him out on that field. They're at the 21. They've got Lockett in motion right to left. Going all the way across. Good coverage, though, downfield is buying time here for House. Who's going to look downfield? He's got Madu, who can't find it. Sean Hardy, the safety, he plays through the tight end and ends up jarring that one away. Looks like House sees something out there he likes, though, making the change. Doesn't look like it actually happened, though. But finding the ball is Lockett, and he will find the end zone as well. Second team offense played just about as smoothly as the first. And it's the first career touchdown for Nate House, finding fellow freshman Gordon Lockett. Well, that is where this one is gonna come to a close. Another dominant win here for the Stanford Cardinal, though giving up more points today than they did against OU. Justin Sorensen, another fine day behind center, this time going over 250, 282, 5 touchdowns for him. He took a lot of hits back there. That's still something we need to clean up, is some of that interior blocking. We'll take a look, especially with the injury to Ergas, on what that might look like moving forward. But this team, despite their youth, they look rock solid out there. But shout out transfer linebacker Damian Dragon, who lands the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week award. And that carries us right on into our first bye week with a hot start, 2-0, and gives us a little bit of a breather to get some guys recouped. Next game, we do have Akron, and that, if these last 2 games are any indication, should be a complete and utter blowout. So we might play a little bit more of the backups for a larger portion of that game, if that does ring true. Knock on wood, cross your fingers that is the case. Because right after that, we are getting stuck into a tough stretch of games. USC kickstarts our Pac-12 play. Our rivalry game against Notre Dame. Week 6 this year instead of week 13, a little bit strange. Colorado, they've always played us tough, and we're in Boulder for the 18th straight season. Arizona State, they're a little bit hit or miss on how we're going to play, but after these 3 games, it will probably calm down a little bit until maybe Cal and Boise State. Now, as for players' health, Rick Ergas once again did get a bit banged up in this game. For the most part, he's looking okay. I don't see any areas that really seem to be a problem with him, but injuries do seem to be a problem with him. But that is contrary to the fact that he does have 93 injuries, so he should be better, but he is suffering from some problems. So we might just have to shake up the offensive line a little bit. But overall wise, we've got a lot of different players who could definitely fill in. And our left guard spot is the weakest spot on this roster. But we've got options, even at other positions as well. Plenty of talent that we might look to shift things around just to get a little bit more sure protection. Because, frankly, Sorensen has been taking a lot of hits. And while his play these first 2 games have been fantastic, about an average of 74.5% complete, amazing. He's throwing for at least 250, multiple touchdowns a game. And on top of that, he's running around a little bit. We didn't see as much of the success with that today. Northwestern really crashed in whenever he did step up, but he did a pretty good job of it in that first game. That could return in this next game. The main thing is I want to keep these guys healthy coming into this next game against Akron. We'll get some of the other guys involved. Bigham's really didn't have any action today despite coming in with that second team. Jewell didn't have as much, but he did still have another touchdown today. So he's had a touchdown a game. We saw a lot more this week from Lockett at receiver, and I feel like we do have a pretty solid trio there. Though I do feel like Bargava is more of the third receiver of these 3, despite the fact that he's out on the field in every formation. So maybe we do change up some things with him. Let me know what you think down below and any changes to this roster that should or should not occur. And while you're down there, make sure you're also sticking around by hitting that bear icon in the bottom right corner of your screen, or scrolling down and finding that sub button, tapping that and the bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. We'll be back here on Friday facing Akron. In the meantime, Cha-Cha Vaz is on the verge of getting his call up to the show. And we have weeks 2 and 3 of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have just as intriguing of some young faces stepping into the bunch. To make sure we see you there, we'll see you back here as we face Akron and a former running back of ours on Friday.